Who did this to you?
This island is a hellhole. Not men. Filthy beasts. Flee! Get out of here any way you can.
How did you get here?
The boat. Last shipment. He shot everyone.
Alone in the Dark was one of the first horror adventure games I'd ever played. I didn't think of it as horror at the time, but looking back at it now, it fits all the formulas. As the reboot of the franchise that predates Resident Evil, all it really ever gets compared to is Resident Evil. Not like that's a bad comparison. It sticks true to the original Alone in the Dark trilogy and adds the action of Resident Evil, blending them together really well. Atmosphere. The atmosphere of Alone in the Dark comes mostly from the music, the way people speak, the darkened rooms and the lighting effects and the creepy story. It's an amalgamation of a lot of things that make the atmosphere in this game really rich. Visually, the game's lighting effects mean that in dark rooms, only a torch can illuminate what lurks in the darkness. Some puzzles even require the torch to solve things. There's some immersive about using your torch to check the rooms for things. It's tense. You feel like you're going to encounter something. Ultimately, it's the music that gives the game its atmosphere, ranging from eerie to menacing. That's one Harry Mason. Scares. This game is more of an atmospheric adventure than a scare fest. I didn't find it scary when I was younger. Apart from the pilot drowning on the second disc, I didn't find the game weird or disturbing at all. It sometimes drops in a few jump scares, but they're so spread out that it's totally allowed. Overall, the game just isn't that scary or disturbing. Still one Harry Mason. Sound design. Both music and sound design for me make this game what it is. The music is incredible, the industrial grinding noises of action scenes and the eerie drone of the exploration pieces make every track fill you with a different feeling. The sound effects are great, things like doors and gates were sampled really well, and they give you the feeling of age and how decrepit the manor you're exploring is. It may seem like a small part, but it all works towards immersion and atmosphere. So that's 2 Harry Masons. Gore. There's a fair amount for a game like this. Lots of blood, a few carcasses and pre-rendered background items, severed heads, flesh hanging off the bone. Enough to creep you out, but not enough to make you sick. The perfect amount for a game like this. It would have been nice to see some of the game's enemies die gory deaths, but the fade out is more of the series style. So that's 3 Harry Masons. Story. The story of this game is its main driving point. You control 2 characters, Edward Carnby and Aline Cedrak, each with their own separate story that intertwines at certain points throughout the game. I think Aline's story is slightly better, though more challenging. The story itself is full of cliches like the world of darkness, ancient Indian rituals, genetic mutation, an evil twin, and of course, fate. However, what some people didn't enjoy about this game that I did was reading all the diaries scattered about the game. There's a lot of backstory in this game to be uncovered via diary entries and memos left laying around. This does mean a lot of reading and some of it is essential to solving puzzles, but I felt it added a lot to the game, making the final score 4 out of 5 Harry Masons. It's a story-driven survival horror. Whilst I still enjoy it more than Resident Evil, it's slow and sometimes solving the puzzles can get irritating if you don't know what you're doing. It's not quite up to the level of Silent Hill, but it's a good game all the same. Shame about how the franchise went down after this game. Again, I'd like to remind you the whole thing is down to my opinion in horror games, and if you don't share this opinion, then that's cool, I get it. I'd like to point out that whilst I did freak out and ran out of ammo when I played this game, I did not scream like a banshee or run away from the computer, and I'd advise you don't either. There'll be more horror reviews in the pipeline, and thanks for watching, and always go check out Bumps in the Middle of the Night. Peace.